Blast me to the Ramesses system. It's time for the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. Issue 82, full coverage. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Mad Merlins Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Journey. And we're continuing our look through the extension for the collection. So issues 81 to 90. And we're continuing with our Paragon Warsuit unit with issue 82 and our second Paragon Warsuit. So, as you may notice, I have both the Paragon Warsuit and the actual issue contents itself. That's because I've picked up duplicates of these 3 issues, so to add to my personal Dinosaurus collection, not just the one for the magazine. But there we have it. So before we dive into the magazine, don't forget to, of course, like the video if you are enjoying the content. And if you are, why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, as doing so keeps you up to date with all my mad content. And of course, drop a comment down below, as I love hearing back from all you guys, and it goes a massive way to help the channel. And don't forget, of course, to check all my links, including the Mad Merlins Patreon, where there is now a there is a Partworks tier for those of you who enjoy Partworks and would like to support Partworks in the future, including possibly the D&D Adventures magazine series. So let's dive into 82. We'll take a look at the frame, we'll take a look through the issue, and then we'll take a close-up look at that model. So here we have our frame, and it's fairly similar to our previous one with a slight exception. So we got the 50mm base again, nothing new here. The only thing different on this frame is we have the Champion's Power Sword here, so make sure you keep this safe for use in issue 83's build guide. But we also have the standard power sword or the standard maul. We also have slightly different posing to the legs and arms, so each one is a little unique at least. And we have 3 unique alternate heads there as well, so it's pretty cool. You can add a little bit of personalization to each of these models. But it goes together much the same as the previous one, with the exception of we are building her up this time with the heavy bolter and a war mace instead of the multi-melter. But yeah, pretty cool. There's the underside, so not a lot to see here, but there we have the awesome stuff. So that's that. So all that's left is to take a look then through our issue. So here we have issue 82, and we're ready to start looking through. So on the front cover, we see we got our second Warsuit, we have a new Adeptus Sororitas story, and the campaign continues. Plus we have full build and paint guides for our new unit. So, full contents for this issue, we have Obelisk and Lyrak Part 3, we learn about the Eldari craft worlds, and we have our short story War of Faith, build and paint guide for our Warsuit, and we have the Battle of Tragus. Moving on, so first off we have Obelisk and Lyrak Phase 3. So this is the continuation of the Death Guard's assault on the Forge world of Metallica and the Tefras system itself. So real continuation here. We see that Metallica itself is besieged. The entire subsectors of Obelisk and Lyrak are embroiled in an all-out war. And there are many more threats, including that of the Traitor House Knights of House Raven. And, of course, the mighty Demon Primarch Prince Bellicor here. So, yeah, pretty cool. We got the map here as usual. So we got the other actors in this. So House Raven, Thousand Suns, Chaos Demons, Imperium Other, Genius of Occults, and Drukhari. So yeah, then we have House Raven, which is actually a loyalist house, not a traitorous house, I forget. They're pretty cool. Nice red colour scheme. And yeah, there we have Demon Prince Be'lakor, the first Demon Prince, and the master of all the powers of chaos. He gives himself over to no one god, and as such is many times his original being, and grown ever more powerful. Next to Abaddon, he's one of the few most dangerous threats of the chaos side. And the two might actually be at competition with each other for their rightful ruling in the Pantheon. But yeah, there we have Be'lakor. I really do like that model. He is on my to get and paint list, but I still have to do Abaddon first, who's been in my collection for just a little over a year now, I think. He really needs to be done. Moving on then, we have a faction focus, an inquisitorial report by Gallius Shan, this one of the Eldari Craft Worlds. Of all the various Eldari factions, those that hail from the Craft Worlds are perhaps the best known. This is not to say, however, that they are well understood. They are an esoteric, spiritual people whose actions are driven by prophecy and divination, and are thus unpredictable in the extreme. So we got an inquisitorial report here focusing on the different craft worlds, and these are the Eldari who survived and fled the fall of their civilization after they birthed the chaos god Slanesh, and they now live on world sized ships known as craft worlds, where they get their name. And they have cities, shrines, and all sorts living on these individual spacecraft. So here we have the most notable craft worlds. We have Ulfway, Elatok, Bieltan, Iandan, my personal favourite, and Samhan, the most common with their red and white colour scheme. Next to Iandan, my favourite are their Mirror Force, which is Elatok, whereas Iandan are a primarily yellow with blue accent scheme and are focused mainly on utilising Wraith constructs. Elatok are predominantly blue with a yellow accent scheme and resolve their conflicts through stealth. So yeah, either way, both easily some of my favourite craft worlds. Moving on, we have our story, War of Faith, and this sees a force of battle sisters from the Order of our Martyred Lady go up against the heretics of the Word Bearers. It follows Sister Genda Euloga and her squad of Paragon Warsuits as they march across the battlefield. Yeah, pretty cool story. We follow them as they travel from battlefield to battlefield on the planet, hoping to find and destroy the heretic command. Unfortunately, we have a bit of a sad ending here, as Gendra, although she did meet and fight the traitor, he did get the better of her. But a really fun story either way. Some great action scenes in there, and it's always nice to see the Battle Sisters in battle against other forces. Alright, moving on to our build guide then. So, we have a note at the bottom of the page. So we have the additional sword, and this is for our unit champion, which is going to be built in the next issue. And yeah, the frame is very similar to the last one, as is the construction. So this time we are specifically requested to use the helmeted head and the missile launchers, but we do have the option of the two different bear heads or the storm bolters, and we are asked to use the heavy bolter, but we also can use a flamer or melter. And she also has the power maul instead of the warblade, but we have the option that you can choose either or here. A little bit of an error, they actually show last week's model here in the completed model box. I suppose that was just a quick way of them having to edit the picture to show the warblade in place. And for our paint guide, it is again much the same as the previous one, so I won't go into too much detail. But you start off with black, pick out the details, silver details with lead belcher, picking out our smaller details with various different colours. We then paint the edging of the missile launchers, as well as the fleur-de-lis icon and any other gold details with retributor armour. Jumping over to Corax white for the white details. Before we start going into the shading, then we bring in our highlights, so Administratum grey, Stormhost silver, a relay Mephiston red, Wild Rider red highlighting, Evil Sun scarlet on cables, and yeah, we have the hazard stripes detail there again, and then we have our completed gallery. And yeah, does look really nice, and mine does, I do admit, mine does look pretty cool. Again, like with the last one, the lines in places are a little too chunky, but I might be able to tidy them up at a later date. So moving on, we have the Battle of Tragus, the next battle in the campaign. So this one's a 75 power, and we use our full 4 battle mats, so it's going to take quite a while to go through this mission. So we have the salvage progressive objective. So each time a unit from your army successfully completes the following action, roll a d6 and score points equal to the roll. So we do a salvage action on also on an objective. At the end of your movement phase, you start the action. No enemy units again within range of that objective. This action is completed at the end of the next command phase, so long as you still control that objective marker, and each player may perform this objective a maximum of 2 times on each objective marker. So it's pretty cool. We get the chance to do it, and we aren't limited to only 1 unit a turn, so it says units. So as long as you have multiple units in range of different objective markers, we can do it again. You can't do it in the first battle round, sadly, but it does give us a chance to do multiple scoring from the same objective without having to move off. Now on to the next issue then, we have our third and final Warsuit, and then in 84 we have a new unit for our Scutari and Adeptus Mechanicus force. It is the Marshal. Must admit, not the most interesting of models. It's another character model, but we'll get to that when we get to issue 84. So all that's left to do is take a close look at this issue's model, and then we'll say goodbye. So here we have the fully painted model. As you can see, like I said earlier, there is a few lines that are a little too chunky, but that should be fixable just with going over the base color. We have the attempted hazard stripes here, but they aren't the best. I think they definitely need to go over with yellow again just to tidy them up. But either way, I think these models do look fantastic, and I'm looking forward to building and painting more. As I said before, I am also planning to leave the arms as separate assemblies just to make painting details and certain areas a lot easier. One thing I forgot to mention in the last video was that each of these I glued to a 32mm base just so I could paint all the details underneath the loincloths, and then I just made sure there was enough space. I think actually I glued them down first and then applied the basing material. But yeah, there we have issue 82. So I'll bring in the squad again and I'll close out. So there we have the squad again, and they do look fantastic together. So in the next video, we'll take a look at our sister superior there. But for this video, that is everything. So I'd like to take this moment to thank you all for watching. And if you think I deserve it, please give this video a like and drop a comment down below as well. Let me know which is your favourite out of the three Paragon Warsuits that we've been given with the issue. I don't think I really have a particular favourite, but I do like the champion there. I think I did a pretty good job on her paint scheme, a little bit better than all the others. But it was a rather arduous task painting them all. I did them one at a time, but I did follow the guide in the magazine. And I think looking back, I will be doing things differently when I come to building and painting my other ones for my personal collection. They are definitely going to be receiving a little different paint guide and colour scheme. But there we go. Like I said, that's it for the video. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you next time for more mad content. Goodbye.